Welcome, welcome. It is Matthew David, the Minister of Allowing, and we are live. Tonight's special, we're going to talk about destroying the top 13 limiting money beliefs. And in case you didn't notice, the word belief is lie. Of course it is. We believe lies about ourselves. And when we do that, like Dr. P.P. Quimby, Phineas Parkhurst Quimby said, man lives in his ideas of himself. So if we live in our ideas of ourselves, well, we better become consciously aware of what those ideas are so we can do something about that and release them. Now, you guys may have heard me talk about health in my previous YouTube channel before it got shut down. I was really big into health because my story obviously began when I was bedridden and bankrupt with Lyme disease. And there were a lot of beliefs I had to overcome in order to get to the place where I could manifest, a lot of prosperity. And prosperity is not just material things, but it also includes material things. Prosperity is all the money that you need to do what you are here to do on this planet. It's the ability to lend. Prosperity is having enough to share and spare. It's the lack of want. Prosperity is also good health. Prosperity is freedom. Prosperity is loving and happy relationships. And what do you think underlies all of these things? Since it's your universe and you're manifesting it moment by moment, well, the beliefs are the offspring of whatever vibration you're in. So we can come at it from two different ways. We can raise your vibration. I do that at the workshops, and I teach people how to live from a peak state of the highest vibration by reducing their repellent forces and increasing their attractive force. And you can also just pick these right off the tree and just chuck them, like these beliefs. And whatever your vibrational set point is, you can get rid of these beliefs and stop yourself in your tracks so you're not manifesting the same things over and over again. So when we clear these top 13 limiting money beliefs, what we're going to do is we are going to experience a level of freedom from what is obvious to anyone outside of ourselves. We're the last one to see it. So here's what I want you to do, guys. I want you to, when I come across a belief that resonates with you, and you say, oh, wow, that's my belief. Like, I know that that's my belief because it's showing up in my life. Basically, if it shows up in your life or if you feel an emotional reaction to it, it is your belief. It's not actually technically your belief, but you are engaging with it. You're allowing it to be in your space. So I want you to just put a big yes on there when this belief is relevant to you. And I'm going to destroy these beliefs one by one. And as I destroy them, then they can no longer interfere with your creation process. And I'm going to use the Name the Fear, Destroy the Lie mind map that I created because it's very powerful. So the first thing we're going to do to get started is, let's see if I can go ahead and click through the screen here. There we go. I want you to get a copy of this mind map if you do not have it. So if you do not have this mind map, You can get a copy by texting "No Fear" to the number there, and I'm going to upload it. It's actually in the pinned post. If you're in the group at hurtado.io, the God's Love Heals Your Prayer group, this mind map is in the pinned post. So I want you to be able to look at this mind map when we go through this and we start clearing these beliefs, just so you understand how it works and what we're doing. So make sure you have a copy of this. Make sure you have this in front of you if possible. And another easy way to do this is if you are in the United States, you can text in. I do believe you may be able to type the number 1 before the 608 and text in if you're outside of the United States. And get yourself to your phone. It'll take 1 minute to arrive. This mind map. And I'm looking at it right now. And I'm going to give you a quick background of how this works. I'm not going to take forever to explain it to you because there is another group that I have where all of this is relevant. So I guess I should say you guys can hear me out there, right? Give me a shout out if you can hear me, because I'm not looking at you face to face. I'm just showing you the screen and screen sharing with you here. So I want to say hi to some of you out there. I see Vancito, I see Mary, Anna said, Candace Pryor, Sabrina, Jean, welcome. Frank Healy, we got Mohammed, we got Cameron, Abel, and Anthony, Sylvia, Vito, Stephen. So great to see you guys. Gustavo, Julian, you guys are all here tonight. So let's go ahead and let me see some of these comments here. Yep, you guys can hear me loud and clear. Great. Brad, welcome. Kirk, welcome. All right. Well, you guys came for something. So notice now, not everybody joined tonight. Not everybody's interested in complete prosperity, and that's okay. When you decide you want to go for something, I suggest you go all the way. Hello, Nicole Brown. I see you out there. And what I mean by all the way is don't do anything half-ass. Go at it 100%. When you're going for prosperity, go at it 100%. So I'm going to go through these beliefs. I'm going to help you destroy them. All you have to do is follow along and listen with me. Look at the mind map. And if something resonates with you and a certain belief pops out, then that's the one that's really important for you. And I promise you, at least one or more of these beliefs is going to be showing up in your life, because I just went through this again, and I noticed how one or more of these beliefs was sneaking around in the back of my consciousness, and I didn't even recognize it until someone else pointed it out for me the other day. And it's so amazing, because you see what happens is Dr. Quimby said, minds mingle. So you can be in an environment around people, and you don't have to be speaking with them, but their mind, through osmosis of the minds, through the ethers, can put an impression into your consciousness with that belief, and you can carry around that belief without even realizing how you got it. That's why the easiest way to manifest prosperity is to hang around people who are very prosperous, because you become who you hang around. And it is a certain fundamental law that you will earn the average of your 5 closest friends, by the way. So when I say go all the way, just keep that in mind until the end, and I'll bring that up a little bit more. So I've given everybody enough time to go ahead and get this sheet in front of them 2 different ways. Text it into your phone. It should be showing up like right now, any minute, if you text it in, or it's going to start showing up on the screen here in the group. And let's get ready. You guys ready for the first belief? And we're going to start doing it. So you'll see how I use the mind map. So you don't have to worry about how this works yet. If you don't know, I'm just going to do it, and you're going to follow along with me. So the first belief, here we go. Belief number 1. Let me see if I can get this to work. Well, the screen got stuck a little bit. Hold on a second. Of course it did. Facebook sharing. Yes, I do want to keep sharing. Okay. All right, guys. Just give me a second. For some reason, my document got frozen here. Maybe I have a belief that this won't work. I better get rid of that belief. All right. Yeah, we do want to replay the... Okay. Well, that's strange. All right, bear with me. I'm having technical difficulties here. So let me just go ahead and reload it. See what happens. Yep. There are forces out there that do not want you to have this information, apparently. All right, so let's get back to it. Lie number one is money is the root of all evil. Obviously, you guys have heard this before. In fact, the more religious background you have, the more predominant this is going to be. All right, money is the root of all evil. Does anybody here believe that? Anybody believe that money is the root of all evil? I mean, just be honest. You know, if you don't believe it, don't put anything up. But if you have a sneaking suspicion that you believe that at the core of your being, just put that up there and be honest. All right. So they say the devil is busy. All right. Christine Diaz, good to see you. Lisa Wright, good to see you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use this mind map about money is the root of all evil. Now, when we look at this mind map and we look at the ego mind, that's the one and the infinite. So the one and the zero is the one and the infinite one. That's what 10 is. That's where there's a lot of power in double meanings in the tithing, and there are a lot of principles here. But we're going to go ahead, and whenever we take something from the infinite, we make something finite. And that is called subtracting something, which means negative, because to subtract is a negative. That's why it shows up in your math that way. So if I take a belief, which Quimby also called an opinion or a lie, he said that anything that did not bring good into your life was a lie. And also that good is an entity. Good is a noun. Good, people say, well, I'm doing good. Okay, well, what does that mean, doing good? You're making a judgment. You can't declare something as good or bad. If good exists, it is of God. Good and God are synonymous. They're interchangeable. Now, money is not the root of all evil, and I'll prove it to you. Because if we look at this mind map, we can say, all right, is this true in all circumstances, in every event of my life? In other words, if I say money is the root of all evil, was that true when I was 7 years old and my grandfather handed me $3 so I could bicycle to the grocery store and get some candy that day because I earned it? Is that true, that the money was the root of all evil? Well, no, it wasn't true. All right, so since God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, okay, God is the only power, the only mind, and the only presence. If it's not true all the time, it's not true any of the time. Now, if I can look through the lens of that experience and know that there was good in that situation, in other words, God was there, and that money was a blessing that allowed me to have the interchange so I could take that candy that I earned that day, well, guess what? Then money was not the root of all evil. So that's a lie. And if you look at the scripture, it doesn't say money is the root of all evil. That's out of context. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. And you have to remember, when the Bible was translated from its original contextual language and meaning, this is a rough translation, by the way. Here's what I suspect it means based on my knowledge of God. The lust for money is the root of all evil. Because when our heart is on the things of this world and not on God, that is breaking the first commandment. Thou shalt put no other gods before me. And that's what the scripture actually means. So money is not the root of all evil. That belief is destroyed. Does anybody believe that that belief has not been thoroughly destroyed? Does anybody have a problem with this? Does anybody still think that this belief is true? Just give me some shout out. Let me know what you think. Tell me if we killed it. If we didn't kill it, let me know and I'll destroy it some more. And if I killed it, just say killed it. Let me know what happened with this belief. Lie number 1, money is the root of all evil. So we can move on to lie number 2. All right, so Nicole Brown, beautiful clarity. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate your interaction. And you guys have to know what happens here is this is how beliefs work. Good. Thank you, Vancito. Thank you, Kirk. Yes, we did, Brad. We killed it. If you knew somebody that was a liar, let's just say you had a person in the office that you worked at, and the person lied every day. Well, would you ever believe what they said again? No, because you always would suspect them to be nothing but a liar. Well, that's how it is when you know that a belief is also a lie. You know that it has no foundation, it has no wisdom in it, therefore it doesn't apply because it's a fiction made up by some mind that was coming from a perverted place of understanding, period. So that's destroyed. Let's go on to number 2.
I'm Chris with Complete Essentials. Do you want to feel your best every day? Not sure what vitamins or supplements to use? Minerals are the currency of life. Minerals are the most important fuel our bodies require. Without minerals, vitamins cannot work. Shockingly, most people are deficient because our food supply lacks what we need. Discover the fuel your body needs to get moving again and reap the life-changing benefits. Our free Mineral Secrets course, Monotomia, is the answer. Health means everything, so go to monotomia.com and get the info now.
Lie number 2. This one's huge. More money, more problems. And guess what? Matthew David Hurtado's convicted himself. I've convicted myself, you guys. I had this belief. I did. And I have to kill it right now. Because guess what? I was in a situation a few times, in my process of going from 0 to 7 figures, it happened so quick by using the 3-2-1 process. I teach at my website, MatthewDavidHurtado.com. That's what I wrote about in my book, Allow, and I keep reiterating, saying it over and over and over. So that's what I did. But I made so much money so quick that I didn't have the business wisdom. I didn't know about cash accounting versus accrual accounting and all of the things that you need to know. And so I ended up getting in, some legal issues for a while, and I ended up having to pay out some money, and I had to get into some problems. But guess what? Let me tell you something. That was not the problem. The money was not the problem. I want you to think of money like an energy. I want you to think of it like a third person sitting in the room with you and me. You and I are sitting at the table, okay? And let's just say somebody comes up to the table and they say, "Hey, Matthew, what happened when you scaled up your business and, things got really big really fast?" And I pointed to the third person at the table and I said, "That guy right there, he's a problem. That guy's a problem." Well, what do you think that guy's going to do if I point to him and call him a problem? He's going to say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you think I'm a problem, I guess I'll just get up from the table and I'll get away from you. I guess I'll just step back. If you think I'm a bad influence on you, I think I'll just cool you down a bit. I'll just step back." See, you got to remember that money is an energy. In fact, it's an acronym. Money is my own natural energy yield. Money is an acronym. It represents your energy. So money is innocent. Money doesn't have a problem, and more money does not equal more problems. So let's destroy that. Now, again, we're looking at the infinite, and if we subtract this thought, in other words, Jesus said, take no thought for your life, but if I subtract the thought, more money equals more problems, I have taken thought for my life, and I've defied what Jesus said to do. Now I have this lie. It's a spell that I'm living under, and I can look at my timeline, see down below where all the, you can see my cursor here, I think. All these are. Well, let's just go to a certain time. Let's see. Oh, yes. Let's go to when I paid cash for my Ford Cobra GT 500 a year before it came out. And I went to go to the car dealership. And all I have to do is take one experience, okay? And you can do the same thing. And I remember I walked into the car dealership and I talked to the guy, and it was on the showroom floor. It was the 2014 model, and it was 2013, and I wanted it. And it was the owner's car. And I said, how much? And it was like $70,000 or something like that. And he said, well, it's the owner's car, but he'd sell it to you if you have financing. I said, oh, well, let me drive it. And so he let me drive it. And I said, well, I don't need financing. I'll just give you cash, pay a check. And he thought I was kidding. And I laughed, and I brought it back a cashier's check from the bank, and I bought it that day. Money was not a problem that day. In fact, it saved me a lot of time by not having to do the financing. I could just write the check, thank you for the car, have a good day. So money was not a problem that day, which means that it wasn't true every time in my life without fail or exception. Therefore, it's not true any time of my life. If it's not true all the time, it's not true anytime. If it's not eternal, omnipresent, omniscient, coming from the one mind, in other words, if it's not what God is knowing to be true about me, it's a lie. So more money does not equal more problems at all. So did I kill that belief, or does it need to be killed more? Did you guys feel that? Can you guys see how to do this on your own timeline? Has everybody been able to go into their own experience at any time in your life? If you can pull up any memory on your timeline where it wasn't true, that means it's not true at all. It means it's a lie. And if it's a lie, then you no longer have to live under the spell of it any longer. All right. Thank you, Mary. Killed it. Welcome, Casey. Good to see you on here. Thank you, Sylvia. You think it's cool? Milana, good to see you. Abolished. Very good. I like that word, abolished. I think we should call them abolishing these abominations, because they're all a bunch of abominations. Let's move on. Let's go on to number 3, guys. Here's one. I'm not good with money. Now, I suspect there are some people that secretly believe this. Okay, does anybody secretly believe I'm not good with money on this? You guys, if you do, just be humble about it. Put it out there. Say, hey, I'm not good with it. Now, I actually believe that I'm really good with money. I do. I honestly do. And you know why? Because I believe my covenant with God protects me and gives me wisdom from this. So, oh, Casey, you joined. You're going to have to watch the replay, buddy. We're on line number 3 now. Just keep going till the end and catch up on the back end. All right. So, there we go. Thank you, Nicole. I bombed it. All right. So, Bancito, yes, I'm not good with money. All right. Well, this one's easy to destroy. This one is simple. Okay. Remember, if we subtract anything from the infinite, that means we've taken thought for our life, which means it's a belief and it's a lie. It's right there. Be lie. It's right in the word, for Christ's sakes. Look at it. It's just out in the open where nobody will believe it. It's amazing how we are programmed. All right. And man lives in his belief. So let's change that. Look at any experience on your timeline, any memory, and I want you to jump into any memory where it wasn't true. Any transaction you ever had, or any day in your life when you were in the presence of God, which means in the presence of a good experience where you knew that you were good with money in that moment. Can everybody find at least one memory when you were good with money? At least one experience in your life when you had wisdom with a transaction, you came out ahead, and you were, seizing the day on top with money in the positive. Can anybody just say, yes, I have experienced being good with money at least once in my life? Because if you have, guess what? It means that the belief I'm not good with money is an absolute lie. Because if it's not true in that particular experience where you knew you were good with money, then it means it's not omnipresent. And if it's not omnipresent, it's not of God, and there is nothing outside of God where God left off and something else exists. That means it's a shadow, it's fiction, it's a lie. And Proverbs says that Satan roams around the earth in the shadows looking for someone to tempt, okay? So this is just a lie trying to tempt you. All right, good. Now, did we kill this belief? Did everybody do it yourself? Did you get inside a memory and recognize that if I'm not good with money isn't omnipresent? That means if it's not present in every memory, every experience of your life, then it doesn't exist. Now, contrary to that, let me show you what does exist. Pay attention to your awareness of yourself right now. You can be aware of yourself. You know that you exist, don't you? And you breathe. You're breathing right now. Okay, that's existed in every moment of your life, your awareness of yourself. And breath. You may have held your breath for a short time, but breath is life, and so is awareness, presence. Okay? Now, we know that I'm not good with money is an absolute abomination. It's a lie. Awesome. We destroyed it. Good. Let's move on. Lie number 4. Here's a big one. Who believes it takes money to make money? Has anybody ever said that to you? It takes money to make money? What a load of crap. That is a load of crap. And I'll prove it to you with a simple statement. When you don't have a dollar to your name, if you get a JOB, a job, journey of the broke, just over broke, and somebody says, I'm going to buy you at wholesale for $20 an hour, and I'm going to sell you for $40 an hour, didn't you just make a contract to get money? So did it take you money to get that contract to get money? You made an agreement. No, it took you time and energy, but it didn't take money. Okay? It took you an agreement. Now, I want you to understand, thank you, Nicole, I have that belief. This belief is absolute crap. Life is what you negotiate. Everything is based on agreement. Your agreement with who you are is the most important agreement you can make. Now, let me give you one example of how it takes no money to make money. In other words, I just gave you the go get a job and you don't have any money, and at the end of your week or whatever, whenever they pay you, you have money. You didn't have to have money to make money, so that's a lie, isn't it? Because if it's not true everywhere at all times, it's not omnipresent, therefore it doesn't exist. It's a lie, it's a shadow. But as long as you have that shadow lingering, it will show up in your life in ways that you will be like, well, I just can't do it because I need money to make money, and you won't even know where that came from. It comes from an opinion from some erring human mind that knows nothing of God, that came from the 5 senses. It's a lie. You don't need money to make money. All right. Does anybody still have a problem with that? Nicole, did does that destroy the lie, just knowing that you don't have to have money to make money? You actually make money, going to get a job and then they can pay you on a paycheck. Does that make sense? Just let me know if that makes sense. Milana, I'm very sorry that you couldn't come to the workshop. We'll have another one. You can be to the next one. All right, obliterated, good. So what does exist? Existence exists. God is all there is. God is eternal. God is omnipresent. There is no point in the universe where God leaves off and another power takes over. People say, well, what is Satan then? It says right in Proverbs, what is Satan? Satan lingers the earth in the shadows, okay? So the human erring mind through the five senses, through the 6 degrees of separation, through the 3 kingdoms, the 666, the who, what, when, where, why, and how. In other words, the adulterated state of being that comes from becoming adulterated, not childlike where the faith is, but adulterated. That is the Luciferian matrix. That is where ridiculous beliefs like this are made up and spread like viruses, like somebody coughing in a room, and then you pick up the belief that there's a germ going around or a virus. And you see Dr. Quimby and Mary Baker Eddy, his protege, destroyed these beliefs left and right and cured tens of thousands of people from all sorts of illnesses, including financial problems. That's why we're talking about it tonight. Because if we destroy the lie, we destroy what it's doing in your world. All right, makes sense? Great. I was really lingering on you, Nicole, because you brought it up. So I just want to make sure if anybody says like, hey, that's my belief, I'll make sure you got it destroyed before I move on. So, all right, we're good. Let's move on. Lie number 5. Oh, here's a good one. I'm not worthy. Oh, this one's rich. I'm not worthy. Come on, be honest. Come on. If you're out there and you suspect at some level, let's just put it this way. Let's be honest. If I said we're going to go to a formal, all of us in this group, on Saturday night, and it's a $500 a plate steak dinner, because it's for a charity, and let's just make it a $10,000 a plate dinner because it's for a very expensive charity with those people called politicians involved and high profile business people will be there. So they charge you an arm and a leg to get there. Who secretly feels a little unworthy going to a $10,000 a plate dinner and rubbing shoulders with multimillionaires and billionaires? Just be honest if you do. Says you can also make money drop shilling, blah, 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 blah. Yep, that's right, Marisol. Good idea. Felt that. All right. Okay, so there was a time I believe it, not anymore. Good, Kirk. Yes, that's me. Thank you, Anna. I'm glad that you were honest about that. Now, I'll give you a story. When I first started making some really good money back in 2000, I don't know, what was it, 2010? Yeah, about that. I had a friend named Brandon and Dave, and these guys, wow. You see, let me put it this way. These guys were like the first 2 guys I ever coached, back in the day. They were like my younger brothers, and they came along, and we all were doing, network marketing businesses, etc. And Dave went to go start his company. Fast forward 7 years later, he just sold it for $50 million, same company. And Brandon, the first year he goes into business, he makes over $900,000 as an entrepreneur. And there I was, and I was making, I don't know, maybe 130,000 if I brought it up. I had just hit the 6-figure mark, but I was bedridden a few months earlier. So, but meanwhile, these guys were making more money than me, and they're younger than me. So when I got invited to this, I felt a little unworthy. I'll be honest with you. I felt unworthy. And I had to work on this. But let's look at this unworthiness, because this one is more of an emotional one than anything. Because consciously, you know that you're worthy. You can say, well, I'm God's creation. I'm God's son or daughter. Of course I'm worthy. You say that, but I say go to the environment and put yourself in the environment with people who make 10 or 100 times more money than you. Or maybe if you're an athlete, you know, go train with professional athletes. And do you feel a little bit less than? Well, what we have to do is first we have to destroy this belief thoroughly. So let's take the thought, is there ever an experience in my life when I didn't feel this was true? You know, back when I was like an 8-year-old child, in fact, if you look at any child that hasn't become adulterated yet, they always feel worthy, don't they? Children. My daughter is almost 2 years old, and she will go into any environment, and she is loved and appreciated in that environment, and she doesn't have a single thought about being unworthy. So if that's true, then that means that the belief I'm not worthy doesn't exist. It's an adulterated abomination. And what it is it's actually a form of guilt and shame. It's really about guilt and shame. And I suggest with this belief in particular that you do the safe touch method and you start getting right with God, start tithing, living under the covenant, and get rid of the world curse that may be upon you that makes you feel less than. That's what I suggest with this particular belief, because this one is about your identity. This one has to do with your identity. It's not particularly about money, it's your identity. So I'm going to leave that there. That's what you do with this belief. You want to become childlike innocent again. When you become childlike innocent, this belief will have no place in your reality any longer. And innocence is dropping the adulteration that took place. Let's go on. The next belief. This one's a big one. There's no money in my line of work. Any teachers out there? Anybody that's a teacher or anybody that maybe is retired that lives on Social Security, there's no money in my line of work. Have you ever gone out and heard people talk about this? There's no money in my line of work. Let me tell you an interesting story. When I was in high school, I had this girl that I was in love with, and she said, what do you want to do when you grow up? You know, like she was like sizing me up already to see if I was going to be worthy for her in terms of will I make enough money. And well, I said, I'm going to be a gym teacher. I said I was going to be a teacher. And she's like, what kind? And I said, a gym teacher. And teachers are broke, aren't they? Teachers don't make any money. So I think she thought less than of me right then and there. And I could tell that, you know, her parents really thought, oh boy, he's going to be a gym teacher. He's going to be poor. You know, whatever. Well, guess what? Let me tell you what happened in life. I followed my passion, which I talk about in my 321 at MatthewDavidHurtado.com, following my joy, my highest excitement at every moment. And I ended up working in fitness clubs. I ended up selling nutritional supplements, and I ended up becoming a teacher. So I was kind of like a fitness plus teacher, and I do it, you know, in my own unique way. And let me tell you this, I'm not poor. I'm not even close to it. Very prosperous. And you know what? I probably have 100 times the income that family predicted I would have. Now, I'm not saying it to belittle them, but what I'm doing is to say that when you say there's no money in my line of work, let me ask you a question. If your line of work is anyone in the world making a lot of money in that line of work, is there anybody retired that all of a sudden came up with an idea to sell something online that suddenly has an ample amount of extra income? Of course. Of course they are. You can do anything in this world, and money really is separate from all of that. It's separate from all of that. It's about value exchange. So if you're a teacher and you think you can't make money, well, why don't you teach online and have a worldwide audience and specialize in something and make millions of dollars doing it? Because that is possible. You see what I'm saying? So let's go into the timeline and let's just break this apart and destroy it with the mind map. So if I could say there's no money in my line of work, well, here's a big one. A lot of ministers say there's no money in the ministry. I'm a minister. Like, I'm almost a full-time minister now. I consider my workshops the ministry, and everything we're doing, and my website, everything I do is for God. So people say, well, there's no money in the ministry. And I say, whose ministry? You know, last time I checked, God is the source of all prosperity. And if I serve God, I don't have to worry about that. I just serve with excellence, and I follow my highest excitement, and I release my judgments, and prosperity is guaranteed in the place of your assignment, where you are created to be in this world. So to say there's no money in my line of work is to say God is not present in my life, and that is an abomination. You guys understand how I just destroyed that? Just tell me if you saw me or you heard me just destroy that belief. There's no money in my line of work. Now, can you do the same thing? Is this belief destroyed? I think it is. I'm going to move on, and let's go. Oh, Sylvia, you can't hear. Is anybody else having a problem not hearing? Let me know. I got to make sure you guys are with me. I don't want to be going forward if you guys can't hear me. You can hear me, Beverly. All right, good, Beverly. Sylvia, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm speaking loud and clear. All right. Did I destroy that belief? Because this is a big one. There's a lot of people that secretly believe there's no money in what they do. All right, good. Belief destroyed. Thank you. Let's go on. Money doesn't grow on trees. This is the stupidest thing human beings have ever come up with in their life. Money doesn't grow on trees. Because when they were originally talking about this belief, when they came up with this, it was coming on trees, actually. Where do you think they get the paper from? It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But you know what it really means? It's not really about the tree. It's an implied statement that money is limited in supply. In other words, that the circulating amount of money is limited. So let's look at it this way. In every given moment, there is $3 trillion in this moment, right now, circulating through the invisible network, you know, going through wire transactions right through you all day, every day. Do you think money doesn't grow on trees is even relevant to your ability to earn money? So let's look at that. I'm going to go into a memory and I'm going to say, okay, I'll go into one today. I received money through PayPal. So every day we sell products all over the world. Okay, so I saw money come through PayPal. So does the belief money doesn't grow on trees even relevant? No. Okay, well, then it doesn't exist. It's a lie. It's totally a lie. It has nothing to do with the ability to earn money. Does anybody believe this anymore? Money doesn't grow on trees? Do you catch yourself saying it, or do your parents still say it? Yes, Nicole, the parents used to always say that. And guess what? When they say that, it's abracadabra, because what they're really saying is money is finite. And that's the end of the story. That's insane. But you know what? I told you minds mingle. Now, your parents didn't make up this belief. And isn't it interesting that, Nicole, your parents said it, my grandparents said it, and I know many people that still say it. So it's amazing how this belief got heard loud and clear all over the world. and people walk around speaking it and creating it. So this belief, I believe I destroyed it, and you can use the mind map to destroy it. And just remember, there are trillions of dollars, whatever, in circulation. They're just numbers on a computer now. Bitcoins, there's all kinds of currency. And money did grow on trees back when they came up with this belief, which was the ironic part about it. Okay, so I got a little freezing going on here, so I'm going to have to restart the screen. So just bear with me. I think this thing times out after a while. So let's go back through. Okay, here's the next belief. People who have lots of money are greedy. People who have lots of money are greedy. Liz, that's right. Your dad said it every time we asked for money. Now, what do you think that did to you, Liz, when you asked for money and your dad programmed into your mind money doesn't grow on trees? You know, it's almost like saying, if my kids came to me and said, Dad, can we have a hug? And I said that, you know, gasoline doesn't come from rocks. It's not even relevant. It's not even relevant. But the implied statement with money doesn't grow on trees is that you're asking for something that is finite. You're being a burden about this. It's not finite. It's infinite. All right, so beliefs destroyed. People who have lots of money are greedy. I know that some of you guys believe this. You guys got to be honest with me if you believe this, because I'll tell you what, I used to believe this. I used to be around wealthy people when I grew up, and I always thought that they were like liars, cheaters, and con artists. Because guess what you learn when you watch movies is you always learn that, like, look at the movie Titanic, all right? The movie Titanic, all the poor people are celebrating and laughing and having a great time. And then, you know, on the other part of the ship, all of the rich, stuck up, arrogant a-holes are all uptight, crooked, evil. You see, they program you with this. This is programming, cultural programming, and cultural is cult. Okay? Now, Mr. Wonderful Shark Tank. All right. It made me feel guilty for desiring anything. Absolutely it did. And guilt is a call for punishment, Liz. And so enough of that over and over and over. And guess what? You have a habit of punishing yourself through guilt. Well, guess what? You're coming to my workshop. I'm going to show you how to completely destroy that and never have to worry about that ever again. So people who have lots of money are greedy. So let's destroy it. I remember my first mentor. Let's just talk about Randy Gage. When I was at the Princeton Club at age 27, I think, 26, I was working out with this lady, and she was so nice, and she was so happy. And I said, you know, my dream is to make 6 figures in network marketing. Now, this is a long time ago. And she goes, oh, wow. She goes, my brother's really big into network marketing. And I said, who's your brother? She said, Randy Gage. And I said, shut up. I said, I just read his books. I said, he's like my hero. And she's like, well, that's my brother. And so she made the introduction, and Randy became my first, you know, like multi-millionaire mentor. And he happened to grow up in the same city where I was raised, in Madison, Wisconsin. And he taught me about tithing, and he became a millionaire in 5 years tithing, and I did it in 3.5 years. I think he did it in 3.5 years too. So he taught me the prosperity secrets, and, you know, a lot of that stuff I teach today as well. But he wasn't greedy. He was actually one of the most generous people I ever met, because he had a lot of resources to offer. And he got rich by being generous. Now, isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting that he got rich by being generous? He didn't get there by being greedy. Now, there are people out there that get rich by lying, cheating, and stealing, and conniving, and all that thing. But, you know, eventually karma comes and gets them, and, you know, they pay their price eventually. But the true path, the spiritual path to prosperity, is all about generous giving. Okay? Generous giving is the true path to spiritual prosperity, honoring God and generous giving. Okay? Simple. Now, people who have lots of money on this path means that they're very generous, not greedy. So this slide is absolutely not relevant to anyone on the spiritual path in the way that I teach. And anybody here, I'm sure, understands that that belief is destroyed. So did I kill that belief? Did we destroy the belief that people who have lots of money are greedy? That's like saying that all basketball players are, buttheads because I played hockey. And I don't like basketball players because they always competed with us during the same season. You see, it doesn't apply. You can't say stuff like that. People who have lots of money are greedy. Well, maybe some of them are, but the majority of them probably aren't. All right, we killed it. Good. So there we go. Let's go on to the next one.
Listen, there are two types of people in this world. People who believe they can and people who believe they can't. I'm pretty sure you already know who I am. You see this, MOCAINE. This is my secret. You know, probably you never heard of it because you are swinging around your local coffee shop and congregate with the sheep. Bah, bah. What's wrong with you anyway? So what you waiting for? Go on MOCAINE.com and little Tony will ship you some little baggies, risk-free, to try out. You should be killing it. You should be living like me. You should be living like me. But you ain't, right? You're missing this. This is the secret. This is the fuel to complete your mission. I'm putting powder all over the streets. I don't want to hear any more excuses, okay? You work for me now. I want you to be my customer. Go on MOCAINE.com and do the MOCAINE Miracle Morning. I'm not gonna ask you again. I'm not gonna ask you again.
Now we have lie number 9. Here's one. It's selfish to desire a lot of money. Selfish. When does your regulator kick in and cut you off? At what level of income does your I'm selfish, I better stop kick in? Does it kick in when you make $500 a week, $1,000 a week, $4,000 a day? When does it kick in? When do you feel too selfish? Because everybody that increases their income, by quantum leaps will eventually run into this belief. And I have run into this belief several times. And when it's there, I need to destroy it. So I'm going to destroy it right now. So it's selfish to desire a lot of money. Back to the mind map. Okay, we have infinite, God, the omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, one being, one mind, one presence, one power. That's it. Now, if I subtract the idea, it's selfish to desire a lot of money, that immediately becomes negative. That's a negative thought because it's subtracting it. And then I can go all the way down and look in my experiences, pull up every memory on my timeline, and I'm looking for when it was not present. So here's an idea. I remember when I was desiring a large sum of money because I wanted to offer a huge offering. And I can remember that memory virtually every week because every week I like to use my faith in my offerings, my tithes and offerings. I love to stretch my faith. And so when I'm calling in prosperity, it's not because I'm being selfish. I'm doing it so I can be more impactful for more people, because the prosperity that comes in gets put to use so I can create these experiences for people and others. So if I'm not doing it for myself and I'm doing it for others, which, by the way, catch this, when you're doing things for others, it will come back to you and you'll no longer be asking amiss. Trust me, some of the most richest people on the planet got that way by deciding that they were going to solve the biggest problems in people's lives and really make it about other people. And they had a passion to do it. And they were rewarded for doing it. So it wasn't about being selfish. They were calling in, because your provision is determined by your vision. So if I have a vision that I want to, let's say like Mike Murdoch, he says every day we feed, whatever, thousands of children, right? And he faiths in $15 million a year, his ministry. He faiths it in. That's nothing. Kenneth Copeland, $700 million. Okay. Now, people say, well, they're greedy. They have jets, they have castles, they have mansions. And so it's easy to say that's selfish. But on the other side of it, when I take the wisdom that I'm being taught from people who have demonstrated a lot of prosperity, okay, and my income goes up substantially because I'm learning from people and I'm doing as they do, and God is prospering me, is that really selfish of them to be prosperous? No, it's not. It's an absolute attack on you it's a satanic attack to try to bring you down to a lower level. There is no limit. There's no limit to supply. It's your heart. It's what's in your heart that matters. Okay? Now, if, that's all I want to say about that. I think I killed it. Okay? I think I did. If you didn't feel me kill that yet, just listen to the audio again, because I know in my heart that I killed that. That was a lie from the beginning. So let's go to number 10. Money can't buy love or happiness. Ooh, they got movies made. They got songs and movies about that. They programmed you for decades on that song, on that belief. So who here believes that money can't buy love or happiness? Does anybody believe that? Well, being poor can't buy you love or happiness either, apparently. All right. So if money can't buy you love or happiness, you don't know how to shop, first of all, because money gives you freedom. Okay, that's what it really does. Money gives you the freedom and the possibilities to do more things and to be more effective. Now, don't you think that that's a better opportunity than being poor? Poor people always make an excuse, it's a cop-out or an alibi, for not having the wisdom to attain prosperity. And they always say this one. They always say, well, money can't buy me happiness. And I say, well, okay. So let's go out and do some fun things. And then, oh, I don't have any money. And I say, okay, all right, well, would you like to get some money so we could go do some fun things? Yeah, I would love to get some money. I'd say, well, good. How do you get money right now? Well, I go to a job. Do you like your job? No, I hate it. Okay. So you hate what you do 70% of the time of your life, and you're doing that to earn money. I say, don't you see how tied up and bound you are? Like, you're living under a complete lie because you believe money can't buy you love or happiness. Get over it. Money can buy you freedom, and it can buy you a lot of experiences in life that you can't have when you're poor. And I don't know anybody that's poor that can buy happiness or love. Just as much as I don't know anybody that's rich that can buy love or happiness outright. It's a workaround statement that implies that money, okay, let's go on to this. Watch this. I got another one. It implies, okay, that money's not important, which I'll talk about next, but let's go on to this one. I spend money just as fast as it comes in. This is a huge problem. All right. This is a huge problem. Sylvia, yes, you're uncovering lies I don't even know I had. Hey, I did some work to give you guys some of the top money lies here. Like I went to do some digging because these are some sneaky, powerful lies that will cause you to siphon off your income and to live at a lower level. Wouldn't you guys agree? I mean, you know, like write down the ones that really were powerful to you and make sure you kill it with this mind map and really just kill those beliefs. They won't come back once you destroy them. And if they do come back, you'll become aware of it. You can kill them again because somebody else's mind can project them back onto you if you spend time with people that have a lot of limiting money beliefs. All right, so I spend money just as fast as it comes in. This is a very bad habit. This is actually a habit, okay? And this is also what it's like living under the curse. This is what my whole 20s were like. This is what happened to me before I was tithing, before I had understood real prosperity and my heart was for God. When I was living for money, I always spent it just as fast as it came in and then some. I always had more month left over after the money. That's how it was when I was living under the curse, the world system. You know, that's all. That's vanity. That's all living in debt, the willingness to borrow, cramming my future into my present. That's not prosperity, okay? Prosperity is not borrowing your future and cramming it into your present, okay? That's not prosperity. You can't, you know, put prosperity on a credit card. Let's put it that way. So I spend money just as fast as it comes in. Well, let's destroy the belief first. Has that always been true? Well, it's not. It hasn't been true since I've been tithing. So I can go in any experience in my life. I'll just go to today. I didn't spend it just as fast as it came in. I didn't spend it yesterday as fast as it came in, or the day before. So it's a lie. It's not omnipresent. The whole point is, if it's not omnipresent, it's not of God. Therefore, it doesn't exist. It's a shadow. It's a fiction. All right. That's right. Dissolve these lies. Absolutely. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Lie number 12. Here it is. Well, money's just not important to me. Okay. Now we know that that's a lie. I never really sit well when I'm talking to somebody and they say this to me. I say, well, then don't go to work tomorrow then. I mean, you hate your job anyway. Why go? Oh, I have to. I say, why? Because I have to pay my rent. And I say, well, you said money's not important to you. Now remember, let's just put it this way. You have a relationship with money. You get this, Nicole? You get this, Brad, Anna, Julian? I want you guys to see this. You have a relationship with money. Money is my own natural energy yield, okay? You have a relationship going on with your three kingdoms, your inner, middle, and outer kingdom. It's your hologram. Now, if I had a relationship, let's say with my wife, and I said, well, she's just not important to me. She's not important to me. What do you think is going to happen? She's going to leave. She's going to be like, well, I'm not going to come around because I'm not important to you. Well, what do you think money's going to do if you say it's not important to you? You see, whatever you say is what you create. So when you walk around and say it's not important to me, well, don't wonder why you don't have a good relationship with money. You just told your partner that pays your rent, your money pays your rent. You just told it it's not important to you. Okay, does that make sense? I hope you guys see that. They're going to be like, okay, wow, I just got dissed. You just said I wasn't important to other people. Wow, look at me, I'm standing here. You just told your friend that I mean nothing to you. Guess what? I'm not going to come around anymore. How are you going to like that? See what I'm saying? Real simple, isn't it? Now, money is very important to everyone on this planet as long as you live in your physical body and you have bills to pay, because the creditors, they're not going to take your spiritual, well, I'm so spiritual, I meditated 6 hours a day for the past 3 years. They're going to come take your couch, okay? They're going to take your car, because that's what I did when I had Lyme disease. I sat around on my rump being spiritual and they took everything. Okay? They will take everything. So just so you know, thank you. Money is important.
Are you feeling embarrassed and stuck because you can't focus or concentrate? I have a confession to make. I spent years unable to think clearly, like I was in a fog. I was going through the motions, running my companies, and I hated feeling groggy and mentally sluggish. I couldn't get ahead like this. It's no secret, the powers that be want us dumbed down. Chemicals, fluoride, our brains are under siege, and we are experiencing lower IQs. But now there's a weapon to fight back and win. Introducing DNA Evolve, a revolutionary breakthrough in a category of cognitive enhancers called nootropics. I've been using DNA Evolve and couldn't feel better. For me, it works. It feels great to get things done again and get ahead. Try a free sample for yourself at DNAEvolveSample.com. That's DNAEvolveSample.com. Supplies are limited, so go to DNAEvolveSample.com right now.
And lie number 13. Ooh, remember that relationship? Huh? Anybody know somebody that just says, I hate money? Huh? Oh, that's awful. That's so ugly. That's ugly. I don't even like it, but you know what? It's out there, especially in the spiritual community. These guys always make me laugh. I go to the spiritual conference. I used to go to the Conscious Life Expo and the New Living Expo. And I used to hang around those crowds, and I stopped. So anyway, Nicole, you said, Matthew, you said it's okay to love money but not lust after money, right? I love having money around, okay? But here's the thing. You have to just make a distinction here. I love having money around because it comes from a spiritual source for me. I love it because God gave it to me, because I love God. Thank you, God. Not thank you, money. Not money, you are my all in all. I love you so much, money. Thank you, God. I love you. You are my all in all. You know that I have need for money, and you've provided it to me in plenty, ample supply. I have enough to spare and share. I'm prosperous. You did that, God. See, don't break the first commandment. Put no other gods before me. That's what for the love of money is the root of all evil. I mean, it's saying that if I break the first commandment, well, guess what? You broke the first commandment. That's the root. That's the beginning place. You broke, and you're going into evil, which is the shadow. Get that? Real simple. Good. All right. I hate money. So don't ever say that. Don't ever say you hate money, because money is neutral. It's just energy. It has a relationship with you. It's coming from inside of you, and your unconscious mind hears everything you say internally and externally. And so if you are secretly saying this behind your breath or out loud, don't do that anymore, because you don't hate money. In fact, if you hated it, then you would stop working altogether, and you would go live on an island, and you'd get rid of all your possessions. And try that once. You're probably going to not like it very much. If you're used to this Western culture, you probably wouldn't make it a week. So you don't hate money. Money gives you freedom. Money gets you what you need to pay the bills, etc., to have fun, enjoyable experiences in life. You deserve money. You deserve lots of money because it comes from God. So get right with God and get on the spiritual path. And that's what I'm going to talk about next. Here is the continuing part of this. So this is really important here, because I've destroyed these beliefs, and I've showed you how to keep destroying these beliefs if you want to keep digging. But those are the top 13 money beliefs that I have discovered that are the most common for the most people and the most impactful. Now, once we've destroyed them, they don't have the power anymore to keep you under the delusion and the spell. The next thing is to make sure you're doing the audios if you want to take advantage of that unconscious part of you. Right before you fall asleep, it's that theta brainwave. These audios are in theta and also 432 hertz. And I've been getting really good feedback from them. In fact, they've been working miracles in my life already. And I know that they're powerful because they have the affirmative statements that are truths from biblical perspectives. All right. They're not just, I'm a billionaire now. Like, they're actually based on spiritual prosperity laws. So you can text wealth to that number there, 608-530-6658, or you could text money. Now, wealth will give you the hypnotic track plus the subliminal undertones, and money will give you just the subliminal undertones. Both of them are very powerful. And that is so you can program yourself for prosperity, and then consciously, MatthewDavidHurtado.com, you can learn the 3-2-1 prosperity formula. Again, this is what I do over and over and over. It is, in my world, the 3 keys to unlock the kingdom, all right? And apply it. Don't just think about it. Try it and prove to yourself. And you can read Allow and Ask Until It's Given. You can read these free online. You can go to MatthewDavidHurtado.com and get this book, Allow, or you can go to AskUntilItIsGiven.com and get this book in the PDF form. And if you're like me and you like to have the hard copies, just go on Amazon and order the hard copies and put them in your bookshelf. I love bookshelves. I keep my favorite books on hand at all times. And I have a huge array of books on my Kindle too. So when I'm traveling, I can read them. And then when you want to go all the way, you can come to the Allow University Spiritual Millionaire Workshop. And that workshop is designed to take all of the teachings that I've put out, integrate them into the daily habits that will transform you on all levels from the inside out. And over time, you make quantum leaps and your life gets richer and more full of excitement day by day. And so that is the end of this transmission. So what did you guys think? Let's get some feedback. How did you like the process, using the name, the fear, and destroying some of these beliefs so that they don't continue to play out in your hologram any longer? Give me some feedback. Good to see you, Dennis. You're a little late, but you can go back to the replay. Romika, love the books. Thank you. They are near and dear to me as well because obviously, there are the ideas that have prospered me in the book. So Susan, you're on YouTube while driving. Good. You can always come back in this. Loved it. Thank you, Mary. And the process is great. I have a lot of work to do. Joel, let me tell you about a lot of work to do. Whenever I am learning new things, let me share with you a secret. I was in a group of some very elite people years ago, and we were learning some very powerful transformation techniques. And I got the quickest results the fastest of all the people in the group. And I noticed the people that didn't get any results had a really bad habit. And here's what they did. They wanted more. The next thing. What's the next thing? What's the next? What can I do next? What's next? What's next? And I realized they were stepping over gold nuggets, looking for the next gold nugget, and yet they hadn't picked up any of them. I would take one wisdom principle and master it. And I mastered it. So when I talk about the 3-2-1 in my MatthewDavidHurtado.com process, I mastered every one of those things, one by one, and I was able to easily become the top of that, class or whatever you call it. Because everybody else was so in their head wanting more knowledge, more knowledge, more knowledge, more knowledge. Well, knowledge of itself is nothing. But application, perfect application of knowledge will give you quantum leaps. So take that lesson and run with it. So Sylvia, Paul always made the money and it worked for fun. So I've always known money comes to my way. Now I have to face my own beliefs about money to keep it generating effortlessly. Thank you, Sylvia. Well, the good news is when you followed along tonight, these beliefs are dead. They don't have the power of Jesus. They're not going to rise themselves from the tomb in 3 days. They are fiction to begin with, which means they never had any power. And so since they didn't have power, they're not rising from the dead. They are dead. Brad, thank you. Great stuff, Matthew. Julian, learning so much. Good to see you here. Good to see you, Jonathan. Love seeing those. Mary, Kirk, Nicole, Sophia. All right, guys. Well, All right. Well, we went just a little over an hour, so I think we did just enough time. Abel, that's right. Thank you. The mind map is really an extraordinary process because it allows you to truly see if it's omnipresent or not. Because remember, God is omnipresent. Therefore, if it's not omnipresent, it's not of God. And if it's not of God, God left no room for anything other than itself to exist. And that means if it's coming from the shadows, it A, has no power other than ignorance and fear. And ignorance and fear are almost interchangeable. So I've talked about fear before. You can watch the previous talks about that. And with that, I am going to let you guys get going. And Canada, yeah, Brad, we'll eventually get to Canada. Not sure when, but maybe 2019. 2019, we'll make our way to Canada for sure. All right, guys, thank you so much. God bless. And I will see you guys after the Spiritual Millionaire Workshop. Getting geared up for it, and it's coming. So you guys have a good night, and we'll talk soon.